Warm welcome to a Podful of Saints on Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021. We thought we were only going to have one game to talk about tonight, but we've got two. When I say we, that means myself, David Tavener, over there, smiling Lee Wood.
Win, Tav. Stop smiling, mate. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Well, I think. And the other one, giggling away as usual, Jacob Ellacott.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jake. It's lovely to see you. Right, last Saturday, there we go. Away to Corinthian Casuals, FA Cup, fourth round qualifying. 106 game between the two clubs. I say two clubs, that's us and the Casuals and Corinthian Casuals. So just the Casuals and the Corinthians before they merged after the war, as you obviously know. But the first time they played on their own ground. They've always been nomadic, playing at other grounds. And my God, wasn't it nearly a memorable occasion for them? Who wants to start?
Would it be right in thinking that I might have dodged a bullet by not going to that game, Taps?
Well, you're not the only one. The players didn't go.
Hey,
I bumped into Duncan by the station on Sunday, and I said, Duncan, just how bad was it, mate? He said, Lee, you and I have been watching St Albans City for some considerable years. That is correct. And he goes, it's possibly one of the worst games I've ever seen. And bearing in mind that, you know, over the more barren years, we have dished up some utter. That is quite a billing coming from a man that is that has been watching the Saints for a lot longer than what I have.
It's funny, actually, Lee, because this afternoon I was thinking, you and I, not Jake, he's only going about 6 months, we've seen some poor City sides down the years, and we've seen some good City sides. Now, this is not a bad City side, but that performance last Saturday, hoping Jake's going to back me up, it was lackluster. It lacked desire, passion, speed, inventiveness, everything. And Jake's now going to say, no, we were brilliant.
no, I can only agree. It was so incredibly disappointing, especially, you know, big FA Cup fourth qualifying round game, really good atmosphere there, both sets of fans making lots of noise, and it was just awful. I don't know how we got away with it at all. Thank goodness for Big Dave, our favourite. But it was, I've said this to a few people, I think that might be the worst performance I've seen under Ian as manager. We've had some bad ones at times, but there was just, I mean, to have our only shot on target in the 94th minute when it's a scramble after the keeper drops it was bad. And I think Ian admitted that afterwards as well. And we really did get away with one.
But that's the magic of the cup, Jake. The magic of the cup, my friend.
I felt sorry for Casuals, actually, because they deserved to win. They should have been 3-0 up. They had a spell midway towards the end, from midway of the second half and onwards. Well, they just pummeled us. They could have gone 3-0 up. They hit a post. Ball bounced back into John's arms. I think he'd waved goodbye to it as it went past him. And they got a goal. A 16-year-old scored the goal. It's a beautiful header. They are an amateur side. What a rarity, even in non-league football these days, particularly at that level. And it would have been such a good story for the FA Cup itself. You talk about the magic of it, Lee. Would have been a much better story had they gone through as amateurs to face the leaders of Division 4, whatever it's called nowadays. But as you said, we got lucky and we got away with it.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Obviously, I think I owe Corinthian Casuals a massive apology. I think I undersold them horrendously last week. Is it a case of they did just sort of turn up, or did we underprepare? Did we not do our homework properly? What was it?
Attitude.
Yeah.
Totally attitude. We had the ability. We didn't have something in us, just wasn't sparking to give us that zip, even when we were behind. Jake will agree. When we got the goal, that wasn't due to sustained pressure. We got a free kick out on our left, which never was. Liam Soul had lost control of the ball and just ran into their bloke. He couldn't get out of the way. And the referee was our dear old friend, Jack Packman from Margate, gave a free kick. And it never was. And then to compound it, keeper goes to catch it. Ball bounces off his wrist, I think it did. And fortunately, Dave was there. What did you make of the foul, Jake? Did you get a good view of it?
No, I watched it back in the highlights. I thought it was maybe a little bit more of a foul than I realised at the time. There seemed to be a bit of a surprise. I noticed a lot of their fans were arguing that it was a foul on the keeper when he fumbled it. I was like, no way. But as you say, I thought there was no desire. And I will say, I thought Casuals were really well organised on Saturday defensively. They were happy to let us have the ball, and they didn't really lose their shape at all. But as you said, just felt like we weren't interested at all. And again, it was an inspired substitution, luckily, to bring on Big Dave. He was there to tap home. But yeah, you've got a feel for them, and you've got a feel for the keeper, who's in tears at the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and that confirmed it was never a foul. He laid down there after he'd done the blunder, and it was unfortunate. Not the first time he's done it, apparently, though. But 476 games, or 477 after Tuesday. Quite a bit of experience behind him to still be making errors like that. It shouldn't be happening. But also Casuals. You say about underselling them or whatever, Lee. Several times they did great balls, which looked like set to get through our defence to players who had space, but we just managed to intercept them at the end. Otherwise, it could have been really embarrassing.
Yeah, I think we can only surmise that we really did get away with it. And at the end, it felt like a victory, to be honest, to get a replay from that. It was unbelievable. The celebrations at the end of the goal went in, it was great. But yeah, Casuals, I think everyone underestimated them, and maybe even the players and the management team did to some extent. We know Ian does a lot of homework on teams, but yeah. But as Lee said, magic of the cup. What better than a replay on Tuesday night at Clarence Park?
It's a great job Casuals are doing down there, because you won't remember, but way back when I started watching them, Casuals, if they got 100, including our fans at games, that was it. It's because they've had nomadic existence, but they've embraced their history, which one club we know close to our hearts wants to just kick in the teeth. They've embraced their history, and they're really living off it, and they're doing such a great job from it, and it brings the club together, and it's interesting as well. They've done a good job on presenting it.
Yeah, and they were streaming the game in Brazil as well brilliantly from their tower, which I didn't realise. I love that. I will say they had good support from, I think, their Brazilian contingent in the ground, their drums, etc. So, as you say, they're really living up to it, and it was a really good crowd there on Saturday. I think they made a really good share of the gate receipts from that, and hopefully helps them kick on.
Right off to Clarence Park on a wet, well, it'd be a windy day, but onto a wet Tuesday night. And of course, we're going to brush them aside easily, aren't we? What happened?
It's an interesting one, because first half, I didn't think we were great. Second half, I thought we didn't do an awful amount wrong. But we didn't just have enough. But, we did enough in the end. But I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought we played a lot better than Saturday and probably should have won it before penalties. But obviously couldn't quite get it over the line.
Lee?
What a cup tie, fellas. What an absolute cup tie. We are in the first round of the FA Cup. And you know what? The boys have earned it, because that could have gone horribly wrong, couldn't it? I think over the course of the second half, as Jake said, I looked at that first half, and when you've got David Noble sort of trying to ping those little sort of deft crosses into the box, there's something wrong in terms of the movement with the more attacking players. I think it was probably one game too much for Nobby, if I'm honest, on Tuesday night. Dawson came in, had a little bit of spark, capped it with an absolutely fantastic goal. It looked from the main stand as it was sort of going wide, and it sort of like curled itself in. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, any performance we put in would have been a lot better than the previous Saturday. However, I thought I use this term again, we were quite wasteful. Rice had a chance that he should have done. I thought Jeffers was quite quiet. That they did his homework. They did their homework on him relatively well. Defensively, you can see they were looking to sort of catch us on the counter. You can see the way they were sort of setting up. They obviously had quite a lot of pace in their side as well. I just felt it looked comfortable until the defensive mistake let them in for the equaliser. But up until then, I thought we were probably good value for it, mate.
Jake?
Yeah, I can only agree. As you say, Lee, I thought it pretty wasteful in the end. That Mitchell Weiss chance, being behind the goal, he had so much time and so much of the goal to aim for. I don't know how he managed to get it to the keeper. But also, fair play to the keeper for that save from Kyron Wiltshire that tipped it onto the post. I think everyone behind the couple of people I spoke to was like, did he get a touch on that? It's an unbelievable save to take the tie to extra time. And again, in extra time, we had that goalmouth scramble that we couldn't quite, but we had the better chances. I think there's definitely a concern over the defence. As you say, they got in quite easily for their goal. And of course, with Tom Bender going down with what looks to be quite a serious injury, things to think about. But I think we also have to mention, as you said, Hugh Dawson, unbelievable, and Mr. Michael Johnson in that shootout.
Well, Hugh Dawson, without a shadow of a doubt, that was his best game for the club, because he seemed to have a different mindset from his previous games. He started off just a few passes back just to get a feel of it. Then he started looking and providing the invention, which we look for from Nobby, really. He was doing some good through balls. He was questioning them all the time. And then he came up with that shot, which was unbelievable. And if he's going to make it at this level, that's the sort of performance he's got to put in. And he shows he's got it in him, which is great for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I liked about him is he wasn't afraid to pass it out wide as well. I thought first half we didn't really use the width enough, and especially Alex Lancashire bombing down that left. To be honest, at the moment, we don't really have a natural winger to really get out wide. We are lacking that. But when you've got Alex bombing down there and you've got Hugh looking for him, I thought they worked really well. And hopefully, as you said, Dave, that's a real performance that brings him out of his shell and makes him a very important part of the team.
You can see that he was going to sort of grow in stature. Sorry, Taz. He's a very intelligent player now. Every pass was looking to be forward. He wasn't trying to play the safe. We knew we had to sort of press. We knew we wanted to sort of try and push the game, dictate the tempo. Intelligent player, positive passing, absolutely fantastic. I just want to touch briefly, though, on the defence. Callum Adebayo, I thought, is an unsung hero over the last sort of month or so. He's been really strong. He hasn't done anything particularly flashy. He's done the simple things, but he's done them exceptionally well. Joy McKenna, on the other hand, you always feel as though he's got a mistake or two in him every sort of game. And I don't know whether he's going to be a weak link for us or he's going to be a concern for Ian going forward. But in comparison, it is a concern for me. And he got caught ball watching for the equaliser. And up against better sides, he may come unstuck.
You say ball watching, but everyone was getting ready for that free kick. And then suddenly, Alfie Bendel, that guy headed in on Saturday, he suddenly saw his opportunity. He plonked the ball down when the right back was getting ready to take it, takes it himself, drilled it, good 50 yards, right on a stamp for Benjamin Checklet. Through he went, beautiful touch, past Michael. Goal. It was a great goal. Defensively, wins that as a bad goal, but I think we should appreciate what a fantastic goal. If that was us, we'd be singing it to the rafters.
It was a great goal, but when the ball has travelled that far, you expect some sort of composure from your back line, who have been established and have actually been performing quite well for the previous month.
Yes, getting on to your other point earlier, Michael Johnson, he's got a great record at penalties, and he was there again, 2 more saves. He got us out of jail again. They could have gone against us, but our penalties were lethal, weren't they? All right, Akinola's was a bit, what on earth's he doing? But the others were pretty lethal. Yeah,
we've suddenly turned into penalty experts, haven't we? Of course, we won one last year in the cup at Clarence Park against Mickleover. And as I said, penalties on Tuesday were brilliant. And Michael Johnson, he kept us in the cup at Concord in the second qualifying round with that late penalty save. And he's done it again today. And you almost run out of words for him and his penalty ability, don't you? Because it's just unbelievable. And he's so confident. And I don't know, amongst the Saints fans, there didn't actually seem to be too much nervousness about the penalty spot kicks that I spoke to. They said, well, we've got Johnson, we've got a chance.
Yeah. You mentioned a shootout against Mickleover. What's that? We scored 4 that day. 4 against that. It's Tuesday. It is consistent. Jeffers has got 8 out of 8 in normal games this season. So the next round, let's forget the 90 minutes, go straight to penalties.
That's the spirit, Tabs. That's the spirit, man. But what a fantastic, the whole event was great, wasn't it? The build-up and just the tension and the drama. It's everything you could possibly epitomise in a cup tie. And the weather was absolutely horrific. But it also added to the whole occasion, didn't it, really? So, no, it was a good win. It was a great win. And on to the first round.
The atmosphere was great. Casuals fans contributed to it as well. Our lot, the kids, they made terrific noise. they let themselves down again with various things. Some of their chance. Why have we got to have a goalkeeper in the warm up? I don't think he's done much wrong in his warm up. Thanks to him, we were there at all. I don't understand that. And also, objects were thrown on the pitch. You were closer to me than me to it, Jake.
Yeah, a couple of cans were thrown on late on in the. I think it was late on in the first half, or second half. Sorry, very bizarre. Again, some really awful chance that if you were a Saints supporter from the LGBT plus community, you'd be like, "What are you doing?" Honestly. And first off, there's one about Tottenham, and I was like, "What is going on here?" It's just bizarre. So, and claims the goalkeeper's a sex offender and stuff like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the club put out a statement last night, which is very much just a rehash of the statement they put out at the start of the season. And I think the disappointing thing is they haven't put it on social media. So how are these kids who are 14, 15 going to see it? They don't go on the website. What do they care about that? So hopefully that that changes. But yeah, a bit disappointing. But of course we should as well. The casual fans were being a bit bizarre as well. Some bizarre situation. First time I've seen the whole of Hearts police turn up at Clarence Park.
There's 20 of them marched in, didn't they, late in the game? Yeah, I think they thought we were playing that Met Police replay and they wanted to watch their boys on the pitch.
Police dogs as well, and leaving the ground. It was like being at Millwall away or something. It was unbelievable, wasn't it, Lee? Just walking through the streets, just police everywhere.
Like, what's going on? What have I missed here? I don't know. David Tavener's kicked off back the tannoy again, and they've had to sort of hold him back, and here come the tasers. What I would say with regards to the crowd, it's the only way you're going to sort of stop this is if you get some of the stewards and have them at the front facing the crowd, or even integrate themselves into the mass of bodies, because as a deterrent. Otherwise, what are you going to do? They're going to do it again. The club are going to release another statement, and then they'll just do it again. What happened against in the Concord game in particular? There was one fellow who started to chant. He got a cheap laugh from the rest of his mates, and then he thought, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to carry this on now." And obviously, that escalated and escalated. I'm hoping it's going to phase out, fellas. But it's not really needed. It's not really wanted. There's enough stewards there because they were all talking at the end of the stand about the Squid Games and drinking oversized tins of Red Bull. So just get a couple of those. Get them at the front of the stand looking towards the fans, as they should be sort of doing, and hopefully that will eradicate the whole problem.
Yeah, and I think the club has to be careful. Now, obviously, everything that's going on with the Forest Green game, if that's seen on national TV, if anything's heard, or whatever, or one person I put on the forum actually said, if one of our fans throw a can at a Forest Green player, I have no doubt they will complain straight to the FA and will be on an FA charge immediately. So there's definite risks here for the club. You mentioned the tannoy as well. We had a tweet come in asking when is that being fixed, and I have to agree, I couldn't hear it at all. So behind the goal. So there we go.
Tannoy Gate strikes its ugly head again, chaps, is
it? Yeah, our loyal fans will be delighted it's got a mention.
Can I just say though that this has all been sort of quite downbeat the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, but we are basically celebrating the fact that our club, our team is in the first round of the cup. And we're not going to let the small minority, and it always is a small minority, spoil what was an absolutely buzzing occasion. It was almost like the changing of the guard, like the young fans coming in, doing the chants for a whole, basically sort of 2 hours. Fair play to them, but keep it clean, fellas. Keep it intelligent as well, to be honest with you. Chances are you probably go to a St Albans school, so you come up with something a little bit better than that. And then we can just sort of go again.
You say it's been down for about 10 minutes, his little chat, Lee. But we've got to highlight it. And the club's got to highlight it as well. Because if anything goes wrong against Forest Green, as Jake mentioned, we're going to get an FA charge. And on the cameras, that's not going to look too pretty, is it?
Oh, could not agree more, Dave. Could not agree more. But the thing is, what I want to see now is I want to see the club take action and the club be talking about it as opposed to us whipping on about on a podcast, mate. I would hope to think they're taking it with the severity of what it actually is, because this isn't an isolated incident now. This has gone on every single home game, and until it gets tackled, it's going to continue, and our club is going to be dragged through the mud on the back of a couple of rare instances that the club could have contained, 2 weeks ago.
Well, we've seen our current stewards in the past few years. When there's trouble, they have got a bit of a history of turning a blind eye to it. But for Forest Green, you're going to have proper police down there. They won't just turn a blind eye if something goes wrong. They'll be in there to sort it out.
They pay, mate, to get in.
Well, that's another thing. We'll move on to the Forest Green game very quickly, but obviously we do it more nearer the time. FA Cup first round, 7th of November, Sunday. Was it a 5:15 kickoff? Jake's waving his arms there. Live on BBC Two. Crikey, we can't get much better exposure than that, can we?
I don't know, mate. It's going to clash with Country File. I'm sort of torn now what to watch.
I know last year we were on BT Sport, and a couple of years ago we were on BBC iPlayer, but this is what you almost dream of, isn't it, as a City fan, of your club on BBC Two prime time Sunday night. It's unbelievable. It's what you dream of. I was in a meeting at work earlier when I saw that came through. I had to hold my excitement. I was just like, yep. It's just brilliant, and out of the blue as well, because it's not the most amazing tie, it's not the most exciting. Of course, it is for us, but it is so good to have it. Just unbelievable.
Well, you're excited, Jay. You won't be able to watch it. You'll be down there.
I'll put it on the Sky Plus. I'll be watching it back for the next 2 weeks.
Tabs, is it not the prime opportunity, though? As you said at the absolute start, it's you and I have been watching this team for decades. Finally, we've got our opportunity for our club and our city to be in the shop window, show what we can do, show what we're all about, show what we can bring to the table. It's going to be the most absolutely fantastically amazing event for St Albans, and I just hope, and I please to God, I hope the club get it right in terms of their pricing, because the place could be rocking. Clarence Park is old, it's dusty, but you know what? She rocks when there's fans in there, and it can really put us on the non-league map once again.
You're talking about pricing there, Lee. People are guessing what price is going to be. I think the club should be grateful for what it's got. It got out of jail. It did more than that last Saturday. And now it's got this bonus, £50,000 from the BBC for staging that game. Forget all the other money you're going to make from turnstiles, sponsorship and whatnot. You got 50,000. With the prize fund money, we're already up to £68,000 from the FA Cup this year. I think, given everything that supporters have been through last year and a half, the club should say, okay, we're not going to put our prices up. For so many years, we've been the most expensive club in the league. We are going to stick with these prices. We're not going to put them up. And that is fair to supporters who go week in, week out supporting that club, particularly those who were down at Casuals last weekend and faced a humiliating weekend. I think they should stick at their £16.50, and they certainly should not stick the price up in the stand. Here, 20 quid to have an obscured view. Oh, lovely. Thank you.
The pricing of that game, Dave, will tell you just how serious St Albans City Football Club are now about integrating into the community. Simple as that. It will either suggest to them that they want to make the most of this one-off occasion, or they are genuinely serious about getting as many residents of this city into Clarence Park as humanly possible in a safe way. It will tell you one thing or the other. I've lost my role within the club because I criticised so much about the pricing. Others have done the exact same thing. This is now the opportunity to find out just how serious they are about it and just how far the owners have come to listening to supporters' needs. So there we go.
I think we know which way we really think it's going to go, don't we?
It's interesting.
Hopefully they'll surprise us. Jake, what about
absolutely.
your opinion on this?
I really do hope they'll surprise us. The Carlisle game was £15 for the terrace and £17 for the stand, and that was a price increase, wasn't it, on that season's tickets, about a couple of quid. But that was after a U-turn, wasn't it? They did initially put the price higher and then backtracked. They don't want to be doing that again unless they do it, in a humility-filled way. But I say there's no point putting the prices up. Forest Green's home games in the league are £18 for the terrace. They're not going to lose out really anything on gate receipts. Of course, the two clubs have to agree it. Forest Green don't charge the world. They've got no desire for it. And if the Saints go for it, that'll be a huge mistake. And I've already seen comments on the forum saying, well, if they charge 20, 25 quid, I'll just watch it on my TV.
Jake, that's absolutely fine. You've already got now an obstacle for people not to go to the game. And you don't want to give them another one by making the price so astronomical that no one can really want to bother to sort of pay it. The Carlisle game was a prime example. It's going to be 20 quid. £20, it was carpet, wasn't it? £20 for a seat in the stand. So if I were to go and take my 1-year-old daughter, she was at the time, £20 to go let her sit in the stand. I remember having a massive discussion with Lawrence. Ian Rogers had a discussion with Lawrence. It was only until the Hearts had got involved and got wind of it that then there was a backtrack. And it worked out fine because Clarence Park was rammed and it was absolutely heaving and it was rocking and it was a great experience. And hopefully that should suggest to the club that can happen again if you go along the same sort of lines. It's on terrestrial TV now. And I know people, fans who aren't, Mr. Hall, in an example, he's not going to go, he's going to watch it on TV. You do not want to give these magnificent people at St Albans any more reason not to come down to Clarence Park. Give them a reason to come. And then you know what? If they enjoy it, win, lose or draw, they're going to come back. It's simple logic, you know. Give them something they think they're going to get for a good bargain and a good product and a good day and a good vibe, and they will return.
Do you know what, Lee? I think Laura has raided a piggy bank and Ian Hall is actually going to be there.
Sweet Jesus, really?
Anyway. With his threatening.
Wow.
But,
yeah. But you're right, get as many people down as we can. It's 97 years since we got our only win over a Football League club. Let's have as many people as we can possibly have down there to witness the second one. Sorry, Forest Green.
Exactly. And especially as well, I know it's not the most exciting tie, but this is Forest Green. We've got history with them in the FA Trophy. We were so close to Wembley that day. Let's get them this time. And again, just pack the park, you know, get everyone in there. Why bring any negativity on it? This is a great situation for the club. They've got lots of positivity in the last couple of weeks. Why ruin it with ticketing issues? Hopefully.
It'll be £27 all round then, fellas.
We've got...
You can see our club is advancing. We've got a nice new wooden shed down there. Any idea what that is?
They're going to put you in that, Tabs. That'll be your coffin, mate, if you keep carrying on with this waffle.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I would presume that's going to be another beer sort of selling area. I can't imagine it. I saw, Dave, you mentioned you maybe match programs. I can't see it being match programs. It's going to be beer, maybe confectionery or something, some sort of sweet store. That wouldn't be a bad idea actually. A few clubs do that. So, but yeah, of course for FA Cup first.
Precariously positioned though, isn't it? On top of that terrace.
Yeah,
health and safety doesn't exactly come into the equation there, does it?
No.
Of course. No. FA Cup first round, you can't drink pitchside, so we won't be able to use all the pitchside bars we've got now. So,
that'll improve the view for people in the stand if they haven't got all those drunk standing around by the area.
Hey, I was only drunk in the second half. I was perfectly sober in the first.
Very good, man. Well done. Proud of you.
But yeah, it is. You know, overall, we've got to be hoping that they do well. And I've already had a lot of people asking me when are tickets going on sale, etc., etc. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest as long as it's sensible pricing.
Well done, Jake. Well, we've got some more games before then. This coming Saturday, a ground where we could never score before. Was it 7 games down there without getting a goal? Our last 2 visits, we scored 3 both times. Both games are our only 3 shots on target, unbelievably. Bath, after a good start, had gone off the boil a bit. So we've got our last 3 times we've qualified for the FA Cup proper after our 4th qualifying round game. We then haven't lost in the league, and the way things are going, we should keep that going Saturday, I should hope.
Yeah, really should do. Of course, Tuesday was a long evening, but I'm sure we've got more than enough to overcome Bath. But it's always a tricky place to go to. But as you say, last couple of years, we've made it look easy, really, and yeah, just got to play confidently. Of course, defensively, it'll be interesting to see what we do now without Tom Bender, Devontae Stanley out. Margaret Clark's also out for a little while, isn't he, Dave? I think you spoke to him the other day.
Yeah, it didn't paint a very optimistic picture when I spoke to him in the first match against Corinthian Casuals. But I noticed he was running around before the game Tuesday, so maybe it's not as bad as he has feared, but he certainly seems to be some way off playing. Do we know what trouble is with Tom Bender?
So I spoke to Ian last night just to sort of see what the situation was, and his foot is so swollen they can't actually get a proper, sort of light on what's going on yet. So they had to wait for it's so bad. Imagine being your foot so swollen, you don't actually know what the matter is yet. But it's going to be a while since we've seen him back in a fixture.
Yeah, so that gives us another query for Saturday, certainly.
Yeah, and it's such a shame for Tom. Forest Green, his old club, chance to go up against them, misses out so late on as well. And they looked so innocuous. He just was crumpled down in a heap in the box after seemingly nothing at all. But yeah, defensively, I presume it'll be Adebayo and McKenna at centre half now. I've had a few fans message me going, "Are we going to bring in a defender for Forest Green?" Because suddenly now, defensively, we look a bit not quite as strong as we'd hoped.
Well, to be all fair though, Jake, Tav says we've got £62,000 burning a hole in our pocket, mate. So we can maybe afford one or two more, couldn't we?
Sure.
Yeah, we can afford some more wooden sheds. But we have got one new player. We brought in Bailey Brown from Hendon last week.
Yeah, bit out of the blue, wasn't it? The day before the cup game.
Big lad. Big lad.
Yeah. By all accounts, he looks good. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a big, strong, commanding centre midfielder. He's 6'5", isn't he? But yeah, he's had a bit of a nomadic career, Chesham, Staines, Hendon, etc. So hopefully he comes in. But it's interesting. I mean, will he get a chance now with Hugh playing well? You know, will there be opportunities for him? I don't know.
He's a different sort of player though, Jake, isn't he?
Yeah.
If you look at Dawson and Noble, we haven't. All right, you can bring Big Dave into that equation, but he doesn't really sort of fit the bill of how Ian wants to set up his midfield from the start. Maybe he's going to be a bit more of an impact player, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he could be ideal for, say, a game against a league side, big and strong and commanding. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
Good shot.
His signing was announced on the club site, last Friday, was it? And it said his dad played England C and whatnot. Didn't mention he played for us. He actually played 15 games for anybody who does the website and appeared in 2 cup finals. And was a very good player. Did very well in that Woking side when they were having their glory days. So if Bailey turns out to be anything like him, we've got a good one, but we shall see on that one. Right, Bath. Well, we've got another game next Tuesday as well. Billericay Town down the park.
Oh, and then after that we've got another one. And then it's the cup game.
Well, hang on, we stick with Billericay first.
Oh, I know.
We want to stay in that top. We want to stay in that top 6. That's the sort of side you're certainly looking to win at home, aren't you?
Yeah, the next 2 games you probably want 4 points minimum from, don't you? Given where the 2 sides are in their form, we're on a great. I mean, we're unbeaten in how long now? Since middle of August.
10 or 11.
11 games. When Corinthians was probably a fixture that the away game, sorry, shaky one, but otherwise, I think we're looking pretty strong at the minute.
You don't sound particularly upbeat, Jake, for someone who's going to command four points from the next 2 games, mate.
My only concern is probably just the.
I think we're going to struggle. I'm going to come out. I'm going to think we struggle against Bath. I think it's going to be the Tuesday's game has taken so much out of us. It really has. I think we'll be lucky to come away with a draw. But then again, as people know, my predictions are absolutely shocking. So I don't even know why I bother.
It's funny because Casuals were completely shot, weren't they, after about an hour? But they come up with that goal and they defended superbly, even when they were shot. But we can raise ourselves for this, surely. One would imagine Nobby won't be starting.
No, it's surely going to be Hugh in midfield again. I think my only concern is just up front, we look like we're slightly dried out with the goals at the minute, just ever so slightly, not quite as good as we could be. But, both games are going to be difficult, and suddenly we've got quite a tough schedule. But we've got to go there confident. That's on the high of Tuesday night as well. The celebrations from the players at the end as well will hopefully counter, and they find out that Forest Green's on TV. I suspect the squad is going to be absolutely buzzing in training this evening. So we'll see. And as you said, we've played well recently down at Bath. But it is Bath Student Day, so it could be very rowdy down there. It could be,
But you two are right about the lack of goals. No disrespect to Dave Deju, but when he's your joint second highest scorer, you are thinking, goodness sake, Sean, don't get injured.
This was a point that we raised for the previous 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If you take his goals out of the whole team, we're struggling. And I know that I've got a message actually. Zane has been coming on to a little bit of form recently. He's now getting involved in games a lot more. Hopefully, we can see a few more goals from him. But it is a concern about when Jeffers doesn't fire, then it's you can't really see where the next sort of goal or two is going to be coming from.
No, not at all. But we'll see. So we have to do predictions for both
Yeah,
games.
go on. We got 3 predictions: the price of a Forest Green Rovers game, and the Bath and Billericay games.
Ooh, I think pricing, I'll go 17 quid on the terrace. I'm not going with the stand price. And then Bath, I'll go 1-1. And then Billericay, I'll go 3-1 Saints.
Beat that, Lee.
Oh, pricing, I'm hoping it's 16.50. I can honestly see a 20 quid coming, if I'm honest. I don't want it to be, but I can see it. Bath, let's get down to the games. Bath, I think we're going to struggle. I think we're going to come away there with a score draw. Billericay, I don't know. That could be anything. That could be it. Because they've still got some really, really good players. But they are collectively, as a unit, just shambolic. Yeah, maybe sneak a win, but my predictions are worth nothing now. So, considering that we were going to cane Casuals about 5-0. So,
well, you still come closest to getting one this season when you got the Tunbridge Angels result.
Abandonment.
Then it got abandoned. So you could have been well ahead of Jake by now. Of course, we've now got a date for the Tunbridge games, 30th of November, isn't it?
Lovely little trip.
Yeah, on a Tuesday night, just where you want, isn't it? Well, Forest
Exactly.
Green midweek's going to be nice. Oh, does it go to replays or is it?
Yeah, I believe it.
Right. Forest Green on a midweek when.
It's a nice trip down to Nailsworth for you, Jake.
I presume. I think the replays are a week after, aren't they? So, yeah. Where's Nailsworth?
Stroud, my friend. Stroud. Nice part of the world.
Forest Green, lovely part of the world.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
I don't-
lovely.
I don't believe you.
Well,
Make sure you have your jabs and stuff, mate.
We have been there midweek before because Chris Seaby, Tom Davis, and Magnus Okongai played for the England C team in 2006-7 for the opening of a new lawn, and that was a midweek game.
There you go. Look
Were
at
you
that.
there, Tabs?
I was there, yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris Seaby's got a photo of that team, which I want.
That sounds a bit.
Very demanding.
If supporters want to know more about the FA Trophy run and the semi-final against Forest Green, there's a few podcasts they can watch, aren't there, Dave, on this channel?
Yeah, we did that interview with Peter Risley, didn't we? I've actually asked the club to promote it on Twitter and the club website because it'll just stir up interest. But we shall see.
We've got some news, Tabs, haven't we, about a potential sort of online publication about the history of the game and stuff that we might sort of work on leading up to the big FA Cup fixture. Is that still in the pipeline? Are we doing that? Or
chuntering down the pipeline, isn't it? A decent speed?
Yeah, chuntering down the pipeline.
Chuntering.
Great word.
Yeah.
Word of the day. Write that down, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep an eye out on our social media for that. We're going to be hopefully producing a alternative sort of publication to help build up for the big FA Cup match. So
we've got to tie it in line with the club. Are we leave? What would you have, about tenner?
Tenner.
I wasn't in charge, David. But
Looking at free of charge.
A tenner
absolutely
straight into Dave's pocket.
£10.
Talking of which, now you were going to mention something.
Here we go.
Right. The club is now taking card payments on the gate as well as online payments. Now, it's not me that brought this up. It was one of you two earlier in the week. Someone on the top York Road turnstile is still taking cash, which is dead against the club policy. Now, if you don't agree with the card policy in that turnstile, shouldn't you say so and quit and get somebody in there who will go along with the club policy? Because if you're taking cash, that's not accounted. Not suggesting anything untoward going on, don't get that wrong, but you put that suspicion onto yourself. Is it wise?
I think it was a very innocent situation that they found themselves in so much that people were turning up to the gate with no card, no online ticket. So what was happening is they were handing over the exact amount of cash, and then the person on the gate was paying on their card on their behalf. And I said, why are you doing that? You know, are you going to my point was making sure they get the money back. And they just said, well, that's what we do here because we don't want to sort of turn them away. So, well, that just basically negates all the policy you've been putting out for the whole of the season. So there's even people working on behalf of the club who don't agree with it. So does it need to be revised yet again?
Why not just have one turnstile? Just one entrance, even if it's not a turnstile. Just go around the corner, etc. It's right there. Or even it's literally the next turnstile.
Can I just say as well, if I was in that situation, I'd done the exact same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's totally understandable. But it's just these volunteers do have a chance to talk to the clubs, and they should do. And we know from the trust that they have been having quite a few conversations with the club about it. There's quite some strong opinions, I think, in the trust about the fact that there is no cash entry this season. So surely the club must take this all on board and sort of think, come on, fair enough, maybe not, for cup games, etc. Like Forest Green, you expect big attendances, but surely there has to be some sort of cash entry, because as you say, it's just a bizarre situation. It's not the first time either, is it, Lee, that we've walked into the ground and that's been happening in front of us or behind us? Yeah.
I was always a bit sceptical with sort of Tavs' rant about paying cash on the gate, because obviously you've got to move with the times and all that sort of thing. And I see the ease and the speed in which it sort of gets you into the ground. And I fully agree with the volunteer ally of convenience, whatever you want to call them, about not turning people away. Absolutely spot on. Could not agree more with them. But obviously you're going against the club policy and you're working on behalf of the club. So something's got to give either way. If you don't agree with it, speak up. Okay, people that have spoke up against the club before, that's why we're all sitting here. But ultimately, we're doing the right thing. And if you don't agree with it, you must say something, because the club are trying to be run for the better. And yes, get them in. By all means, get them in, but do it in a safe way and the way in which the club agrees with.
And it goes to Dave's point of, you are just blocking members of the community, aren't you? If you don't have like a cash option, when people that are turning up, as you say, Lee, don't have card, don't have etc. for various reasons.
Doesn't matter, Jay, because they've been let in regardless, mate. So
I know. But by the letter, they shouldn't be able to come to our game, should they?
If you go to a newsagent, you've only got cash and they're only taking card, you can't buy your newspaper. No newsagent is going to be stupid enough to do that. So if money is legal everywhere else, why don't we use it? The club did a U-turn recently, supposedly because they were listening to supporters, and they think, well, if they're going to carry on listening to supporters, they should take cash as well. And not only supporters, volunteers.
And U-turns do not have to be a bad thing.
No, of course not. U-turns
can be done in a very good way and make yourself look better and be more engaging with supporters and the community. And it is not all about it. This is a football club, community football club. It should not be about saving face, saving egos, etc. It is about allowing people to watch their football club. It's their
we'll have nothing to talk about next week.
I know, but it is our football club. It is no one. It is all of ours.
Amen to that, my friend. Good Lord.
Yeah,
he's been on the sauce tonight, hasn't he?
Sadly not.
So are we thinking that they're going to release? So the Forest Green game is going to be all ticket, buy in advance only. I think that's probably the way it's going to go.
Yeah, Carlisle wasn't it? Pretty much, from what I remember. I think.
I remember designing the individual sort of perforated tickets. We went all proper and posh.
Yeah.
But advanced ticket sales.
And we know it'll be 3,500 caps due to the safety. Forest Green will bring 200 to 300 max.
Max.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe
to be honest, mate, that's a long old schlep to sort of Stroud on a Sunday evening at 9:00 at night, mate. So yeah.
So yeah, but it'll be all in advance. I think Carlisle wasn't it? So I mean, I think you can totally understand it in that circumstance, and I think almost every club in a similar position will be exactly the same policy. And I suspect the tickets, it might sell out beforehand. May well do. I think enough of a buzz has been created by this cup run now. I think could well do.
God, it's so sad to see our capacity capped at 3,500. Officially, it's just over 5,000. But when you think back to 1926, when we had 2 weeks running,
when you were 87,
2 weeks running, we had just short of 10,000 down there. It's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, if it wasn't capped at 3.5, I think we could maybe get to 4. I think for this, of course, Mansfield was officially a certain number, wasn't it? But unofficially, probably a little bit higher. But
What are you saying, Jake?
well, I think there was a bit of discussion at the time about that, from what I remember.
You might as well discuss the gates of the last 2 years as well. Then.
Oh,
Some
dearie
clubs.
me.
Sorry, I didn't finish the sentence.
No, well done. But yeah, I think hopefully the tickets will go on sale pretty soon. You can imagine, only 2 weeks to go, and hopefully the excitement will help carry us through the next couple of weeks.
I'll tell you what, boys, I've had messages today from people I've not heard of in like a year. Hello, Woodsy, FA Cup tickets. How do we get them? How do we get them? That's the sort of buzz that this football club can create. People that wouldn't normally come to games are now thinking about coming to games. But then the club have now got to make that last hurdle, get them in, make sure they do buy their tickets by setting a reasonable price and creating that buzz as well. This is where the media team comes in. Create that buzz going forward. And you know what? Once it does sell out, there should be someone from the club going to every single pub in this city, right, with a couple of free season tickets, a shirt, a scarf. Fellas, this is for you. Can you make sure you show the game on Sunday? Make sure you put the scarf in the window. Here's some posters. That's what they should be doing once the game is sold out. Make sure that every single pub is showing the game in this city. That's how you reach engagement. That's how you go to another level, not just putting out 3 or 4 poxy emoji tweets every other week. Get into the heart of the city, go where the people are, and then really create some buzz for this fantastic football club.
Yeah.
Even without the club going around, Lee, I'd be amazed if there was a pub in St Albans that didn't show it that day.
Well, I don't know. I think certain pubs still wouldn't, to be honest, unless they're specifically requested. But as you say, Lee, there's next couple of weeks, you've got markets, you've got bonfire night, you've got so much coming up before the game. Even if the game's sold out, so much ability to get some promotion going for this club and get it in the community. Because if they can, that Sunday, the whole city centre is going to be probably like we've never seen before. Easily. Hopefully.
Sweet.
Never seen before. Telly's only been going 6 months, Lee. I told you.
Oh dear. Well, look on that
All around the
positive note.
Got any questions? Got any questions? Tweet us. Bosh.
Yeah, give us a tweet. Give us an email. Podful of Saints. We're on there. We had a few questions this week, so get involved. Everyone's loving it. And yeah, subscribe, like, etc. And I suppose, is that goodbye from us for now?
It is. Just want to say, Andy Thomas, thanks for your emails. Very entertaining. Good bits of news in there. Olden days. We shan't go on about the Farnborough Reserve match. We'll do that another day.
Oh, dearie me.
Let's get that one a bit. Let's get that one a miss.
Oh, brilliant. Well, on that,
gents, always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone.
We'll see you at Twerton Park on Saturday.